Hello, welcome back. We're back again, like the Renegade Masters. There is, 5, 6, 7 hours to go. Less than 7 hours. 6 hours and 58 minutes, 57 minutes now. Till the window slams shut. We might have about an hour, 2 hours left in the studio before we do what Everton's recruitment team done at about 3 hours ago and went home. I don't know if that's true, by the way. I'm just messing. But Ped, it looks like we've got Dom on the thumbnail there for this. It looks like he's going to stay unless there's a dramatic turn of events. I still wouldn't rule out the fact that he could go, but with every passing hour, it looks less and less likely that he will leave, doesn't it? Now, do you think?
Yeah, I think personally, I think it would be stupid to let him leave. I just think. If he was to leave now, I know there's been talk of Fofana coming in, but I don't think he's anywhere near the quality of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And I think it's about, I don't think there's any point in cutting your nose off to spite your face. I think Sean Dyche has made a decision during the summer that if Dominic Calvert-Lewin's available, he's going to play him. I know if you look at Brentford and see what they've done with Ivan Toney, they've isolated them. They've basically pushed them into a corner where it's like you leave or you don't play. They've got good forwards. We haven't, in terms of like who score goals. And they've made that decision. And they've also brought someone in because they thought Toney was going. They've preempted the move and they are forcing him out. And it looks like he's going to go to Saudi Arabia, which I still think's mad. I think Chelsea should have come in for him. I think that would have been an easy deal to do. And yeah, it's one of those things. It's going to. I think it has split the fan base in many ways. But once 11 o'clock comes and goes, he's an Everton player for at least January.
Yeah,
and I imagine he'll start the games for Everton, and he's got 2 weeks to get over anything he was feeling, and we've got 2 weeks. Or who knows if he'll play tomorrow or not. But we've got that time as well to go, right, he's an Everton player and that's just the way it is. And it hasn't worked out the way some people wanted it to work out. But it's not the first. I think Liverpool have got 3 of their best players are all within the last year of their contract. Now, if they're willing to play in those margins, then it's not the end of the world that we haven't sold them if he's the difference maker this season. But that's a big if, obviously.
Sorry, I felt like I was going to sneeze then.
Sneeze away.
Yeah, I get it. I sort of get it. It's we are slightly in a slightly different position than Liverpool financially. And our director of football said, speaking to the shareholders, that it wouldn't be allowed to get to the case where Don walks out free. And here we are with 6.5 hours or 7 hours, 50 odd minutes left. That could well happen. I guess he could still get a fee for him in January, of course. It is what it is. There's Chelsea, I see, the only ones who are going to come in for him now. And they might be waiting for another hour on someone like Osimhen. And if that definitely isn't going to happen for them, they're clearly not going to use Breuer because he's back in talks with Ipswich. And they're not going to use Fofana. They've already said that. So if they do want to, Calvert-Lewin feels like the only striker they could probably get now, this late. And I think if they did come in with a bid for him, Everton would accept it and take Fofana and whatever it is. That's the way it is. But Everton, I just don't think Everton have handled it very well. I really like what Thomas Frank did with Toney and just said, if you ain't agreed by this day, you're not going to be part of the squad. Now, we're not good enough to not have Dom on the bench, but I wouldn't have started him in either game, even though I do accept he is better than Beto, of course he is. I won't commit to players playing for Everton Football Club. Now, obviously, if he's still here tomorrow, that changes, because he's out, like you just said, he's our player till January, so not using him doesn't make sense now, because you've at least got that commitment till January. You'd hope that if he still wants to get away, that he'd want to perform, really well to get a move in January or whatever. So that will be the benefit to us. So we'll see. We'll see. That to me feels like the interesting one now going into these last few hours. I think if Chelsea get Osimhen, then there's no doubt. Doesn't look like Newcastle are going to come back in because they've not been able to shift Wilson. And that's where we are, isn't it? Some deals do happen late on, but normally when there's a willingness from both. And I think people like David Ornstein reported today that there is a willingness for Everton to listen. As long as the money's right, they'll sell him. I just think that's where Everton are right now. The bigger disappointment to me is that we will finish this window without a right winger. That's a bigger disappointment to me. Because ultimately nothing, if Dom stays, great. If he stays and all that, nothing will have changed than last week. Nothing. Mangala coming in, and that'll be, Jack said today he'll be telling when they unveil him. Well, I think we know now, it's 4:10. That they'll be unveiled later on as this, Everton signing, but that doesn't really change our team. Makes us stronger in the middle, of course it does, and it gives options. But a fast winger would have changed the dynamic.
Well, maybe if they'd set the stall out a little bit earlier and said, right, we're prepared to sell Dominic Calvert-Lewin because it will enable us to bring in a winger. I mean, obviously that was the initial thing that we thought was going to happen anyway when he was going to go to Newcastle.
Yeah.
And Minter was going to come in. I find, we mentioned it earlier, I find that the way they've done the transfer business very, very strange. There's something, obviously I don't know the ins and outs of it, so I can't sit here and wholly criticise it. But I find the way we've done things very strange. Going after Nonto, going after Minte, and then basically just going, no. Now we know that when the Freegan group pulled out, there definitely was a line drawn in what we were doing. But I also just think after that, we've obviously brought in Jake O'Brien since then. And we've been looking to bring in another deal, obviously, now, and it hasn't happened today. Well, why haven't we been looking for those earlier? By the way, Billy Crellin has gone to Accrington Stanley on loan for the season. Why haven't we been looking earlier to work out deals? Why does it come down to deadline day again? Last week the manager's saying there's not going to be anyone coming in, or he doesn't think there's anyone coming in. Why does it have to get to this point again? We're talking about having successful strategies off the pitch. You're director of football, having things in place. It doesn't feel like anything is in place at all. It feels scattergun. And I know a lot is to do with the finance and how you start the season, and maybe alarm bells then start ringing. Maybe some people within the club were a little bit being a bit optimistic about this way the squad looked. But we've reacted in the last week, and obviously, as you mentioned, Mangala coming in, I see that as a just a by the way sort of signing. Got Premier experience, so that's the main thing. But that winger, I just find that incredibly strange. I really do. 2 seasons on a row, gone after the same player, haven't got him, and then just basically gone, meh, whatever.
It's a massive failure.
It is a failure. It can be seen as nothing else, nothing but a failure. And if you've got money to buy a player, now of course it is all about conditions and getting the conditions right. But surely you should be looking at it and going, we need that. We have not got a right winger. We haven't got one. We've got someone we shoe in there every week, and he's not particularly that good going forward. He's in terms of like making things happen.
Better on the left with Bielsa played him.
So I do find it very, very strange the way we've conducted our business this summer, and I know it is because we haven't got any money. I get that, but there are ways and means. And it just. Sitting here today with that disappointment of, missing out on a player because maybe he doesn't want to play for the manager, or maybe he sees Fulham as a better alternative.
Must be stressed he hasn't agreed to go to Fulham either. So that's just it. They were trying to get him as well. So that's the way it is at the minute. But we had that deal agreed. So there must be some money there. There was a deal agreed or a structure agreed. So there is other quick players. wasn't it?
Mm.
There is other quick players in the Premier League, or other quick players in Europe, or other quick players around where we could have got. And that's the thing for me. I think me and Jack were saying before it, okay, if Everton just turned around and said there's no money, there's nothing we can do, and haven't brought anyone in, you just have to suck that up and go, okay, is there anyone on loan we could get then that where it works or whatever? But that isn't the case. We've still spent money, but we, this was June, leading up to June the 30th. Everton were bidding for Nonso and had the Minter deal done. Yeah. If Dom goes to Newcastle, Minter comes to Everton. And Everton, ironically, would have had money from the Dominic Calvert-Lewin deal to pay the upfront thing for Wilfred Nonso. So the way Everton had it sort of planned out was by that week building up to June the 30th, Everton would have had Wilfred Nonso and Yankuba Minter in the side, through the door. And also, unbelievably, had the deal set up for Illiman and Dye. And then deals would have happened, and we'd be sat here in a very different position. We were sat here today with a winger, fast winger that we'd have brought in, whether it been Nonso or whether it had been Nuamar or whether it had been Minter, we would be sat here today with the Mangala signing going, you know what, that's a good bit of business. That on deadline day, we've gone and padded the squad out. That's really good. And you'd look, and me and Jack said this at lunchtime, and I don't think either of us think any difference. I don't think you would think any difference. All of these players that Everton have brought in this summer are all decent players.
Yeah.
It's not like they've brought like 5 bad players in, far from it. But they haven't got what they want, what we know what they need, which is pace. But like Jack said as well before, I think it might have even been on the other show, it's an admission by the club that they failed because the club has tried to get it. Yeah. It isn't just us sat here going, oh, you know what, ideally, I'd love this creative midfield player, and there's never any hint that Everton are interested in that. They've been chasing Wilfred Nonso for 15 months and haven't been able to do the deal. They've been after a fast winger and haven't been able to do the deal. So you have to look and go, why did they let Ismail Sarr go to Palestine? Yeah, because he could have done the job on the right. Why have they not gone after Sulemana again? Or why did they not? There's so many. Someone's just listed it. Kudus, Sulemana, Nonso. There's 3 already. Just off the top of your head. Who you go, well, we missed out on all of them, and all of them are quick. I said before, Ogbenny. If you ain't got tons of money, Ogbenny from Luton is quick, plays on the right, scored goals in the Premier League last season. He went for 8 million to Ipswich. He would have made Everton's squad better. He would have been an outball with a bit of pace, bit of direction down that right where we haven't got any. Why didn't he do that deal? If they couldn't do one at a higher level, which I think they could, why did they do it a bit lower down? That's where I'm scratching my head.
It just feels like, I don't know what the plan was. I don't know how they thought they were going to execute the plan. Maybe Ndiaye was the first top of the list. Fair enough, they got that done. And it just feels like with Everton, and again, this might be just where we are as a football club, but it feels like things are just presented to them, and it's like, you have to take this now or you don't take it. And you don't, instead of going, other clubs might go, we'll come back to that because we're actually working on this one over here. I feel like with us, it's almost a case of, and I think this plays into whether they get played or not as well, in terms of like, the director of football will go, you'll probably see an agent looking at a player, is saying, offer them a player, this player could be available on loan, maybe like Lindstrom was, and it's a case of, what do you think? He does his work on and go, you know what, actually, for what we've got available right now, that could be a good sign and fits what we need, blah, blah, blah. And he has to press the button on that, like, straight away. Not like, can I get back to you? Well, if I get back, and it's like, well, if you get back, mate, this other club might want him, and it's like, yeah, but, and I think clubs with money and the clubs with the ability to control their own destinies, because they've got money or because they've sold players and they've sold them in the right way. They've built a player up, sold them on for whatever, and then gone, now the options are open to us. We control our own fate. I just don't think we've got that. And that's a choice because maybe, the situation with, if Branthwaite had played out different, or the situation with Dominic Calvert-Lewin had played different, because I just don't think we're ever in control. I think that's the problem. I don't think we're ever in control, because if we sell a player for 70 million right now, do we get the set? Does the recruitment team get that 70 million to play with, or do they worry that some of that money might be lost to keeping the club going, paying off the stadium? Because there are those little black holes where it's like, well, we could get money from here, from a loan or an investment company or whatever it is, to pay for that. But actually, you've just brought us 50 million into the club. You can have that 20 million, go and replace the centre-back with 20 million. But that 50 million, I'm having that. And, you know, I think Dyche alluded to this yesterday. He said, when you sell a player, he said, it goes into the club. It doesn't go into the transfer coffers. It goes into the club. And I think that could be a problem as well right now. Who do you trust? Who does Kevin Felwell trust? Does he trust that if he sold Jarrad Branthwaite, he would have got all that money? That's why like the Ira Boonham deal and possibly Dominic Calvert-Lewin deal would have been really, you know, would have worked, because you're negotiating two different things at the same time. And it's not even a case, it's a case of you're going to sort your PSR out and you're going to get a player. We would have never have paid the money for Minter, because it would have been the money Dominic they would have been giving us for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So that's a great deal for Everton, because for Kevin Felwell, he doesn't have to worry about that money going missing in the meantime. He just goes, that you give up, is your player, we get him, everyone's PSR happy. And I think that's that.
PSR happy.
But that's it, innit? That's the new shout, PSR happy. That's where we are right now.
Band.
Yeah. Ned's supporting them tonight, apparently.
He said happy and Ned in the same sentence, and really,
he looked happy when he was walking.
He did look happy when he was walking out the door. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just think there's plenty of quick players around.
Yeah, but have they got Premier League experience? You've got to ask yourself that question every time.
Okay, well, if that's definitely the requirement, then Ogbenny was the one, money, £8 million. Yeah.
Where's he gone? Ipswich.
If that's the requirement, and you want someone who's a hard worker, someone who's gonna dig in for you and do all that, then go and get Ogbenny. Then you're not worried, are you? You've got a lad who scored goals, and I don't think he got 5 goals. It's not tons, but he's a lad who's quick, he's powerful, can get the ball in the box, works hard, supports the fullback, and he's got Premier League experience. And it's not a bank breaker. Go and do that.
A what? Sorry?
A bank breaker.
That sounds, you said a bank breaker then.
A bank breaker. Don't you compare me saying that. Yeah, so Chris says Lindstrom on the right wing. It's not going to work, mate. Not yet, anyway.
He hasn't got pace. I think we've all seen that.
He's not slow.
No, but he hasn't got pace.
You're not threading one in behind for him to run onto. He can. Don't get me wrong. He probably, as he grows, can do a job there. But
as he grows, are we expecting him to have a growth
spurt? I'm hoping that he has a growth spurt. But he generally has performed best crisscross. I'll make you jump. No, I've got to be careful. Because I'll sing it exactly like the record. We'll get a copyright strike.
Because that's exactly how you sound.
Exactly. He has played throughout his career. His best performances have been off the striker. So, you're right, Alex. It is like we could have recorded the last 2 or 3. What we could have done was edited this last night from the last couple of transfer windows and just played it out. And you would have thought it was live. Because
who says it's not?
Celtic Vape says shiny, happy PSR people. And Crimson says copyright that, lads. PSR happy. I think you should copyright that.
That was good.
That was good.
Sorry, if anyone complains about why I'm on my phone, it's because I'm also doing the social media.
There you go. Reece Nelson. Now, I have mentioned him numerous times over the last couple of days. That he would waltz into Everton's team.
Would he, like on Strictly?
I think he would perform tremendously. And guess what, Sean? He's got Premier League experience.
It's beautiful.
And he's won lots of games with Arsenal. So I've got the feeling, Jack, can I bring you in?
Go on.
Make sure your mic's up. Has Reece Nelson does he understand the smell of a victory? What do you think?
I think he could sniff out the nuts and bolts and get the rest of it as well. Now, he'd be a great signing, Reece Nelson, wouldn't he? He's got pace, he's explosive, he's still young. Premier League experience.
Why are you going like you're like someone's like holding the tape?
It sounds weird, doesn't it? It sounds like
What's going? Are you having a stroke?
No, it sounds that way to me as well through this, but I don't know. I don't know if it's the way Ned set it up or something, but God knows. He's sabotaging me, innit? He doesn't want me coming on into his chair making good bullet.
No, but if you talk like that, then that's how you'll hear yourself.
I'm not talking like that.
You
though.
are, no. We just heard it. We're not wearing headphones.
You went slower and slower. It was weird.
It's because it's coming through dead slow on the audio.
Okay, but you don't have to talk slow.
No, but right, because I'm hearing it, it's like confusing me.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on.
The thing is, right?
Me.
The thing is, the Blues saying Nelson doesn't look very fast though. He is quick. He's put it this way. He is quicker than what we've got. So already we're one up, aren't we, on what the threat is right now. That's what you've got to look at. Plus, he's got a right foot. Andrew Shaw says, I don't know why I'm surprised because the people running the club have failed for years. Same mistakes, no lesson learned. And after the same players every window. Yeah. I'm sure if it ever happens and Everton do get a new owner, that some people will be moved on.
That was a super chat, wasn't it? Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, it was. Thank you very much, Andrew, for the super chat. People will definitely be moved on because you can't just keep going. Oh, has he played for Wolves or did he play in the UK?
But do we also have to factor in, and I'm not being naughty when I say, or I'm not being naughty when, just so Jack can understand what I'm saying. Do we have an issue where Kevin Felwell is looking for players, is finding players, and then Sean Dyche is saying, I don't want these players.
Possibly.
I'm not going to play these players.
Quite
because
possibly.
That's been a factor. Again, this is another factor that plays into what's gone on in the last few years. And we've just let a player go today. When I say let it go. And, you know, Mopai just left today. No matter what you think about Mopai, right? He was a bad signing. He should never have signed for Everton. He knows that. We know that. And we knew that at the time. And I think maybe people at Everton knew that at the time, but he was so desperate for a striker. But it was clear that who signed off on that deal, who wanted that deal, because we know that Frank Lampard was offered other strikers and wouldn't take them, and those other strikers have become a lot more successful in that time than Mopai has. So again, this is a problem within the structure of the football club, where the director of football has not got enough autonomy in the club by the looks of it.
Something's gone wrong on this. I don't know.
What?
The thumbnail's just come up, but it's still streaming. Can you see it on the telly?
Yes.
Why have you put the thumbnail on?
I don't know. I've not pressed
Go
anything.
back to the camera.
Go back to the camera. Just go. No, don't press that.
No.
Okay, press on what? Because it just says standby.
Just press main cam on
Main
there.
cam.
There we go. Sorry.
Thanks,
Jack's
Jack.
just pressing buttons.
Sorry, Jack.
Sorry, we are here. Carry on, yeah.
Jack is.
We were offered Ollie Watkins.
So we've had players in the last few years that are very have turned out to be very good players, and we've rejected them. And I don't know whether you like Kevin Felwell or not, whether you like Marcel Brands or not. I just don't think that the director of football and the manager are ever really in sync with each other. And I think a main part of that is because there's no higher structure at the club to maintain that. Sean Dyche is in a great position at the football club. Of course he is. He's in a fantastic position because there's nobody of strength at the football club. There's no one strong, and there's no one who talks, and there's no, every day there's a criticism of the owner or the ownership or the, you know, you can't even criticise the CEO because he's not real. He is simply a hologram. And as much as he has done a great job, you know, just keeping everything as it is, the guy is not a CEO. We don't have a real board.
Sure, he wants to just get back to
Of course he does, and that's Colin Chong's job, and I would never criticise him for what he's holding the club together, you know. But there's no one in place, and Sean Dyche then becomes a very strong he becomes a very strong. He's got a very strong position, hasn't he, within the football club? So therefore, I wish you'd stop messing about with that microphone.
I know.
You love to just touch
I'm
it.
fuming.
I don't know why. He doesn't. He has no one tell him. So if he walks into a room with Kevin Felwell now, and Kevin Felwell says, "I want to sign this player," the manager says, "I won't play him." Then there's nobody to go, "No, you will though. Otherwise, I will replace you," because this is what his grand plan is. I'm go to somewhere like Brighton. No one's. I genuinely believe you can appoint a 31-year-old manager because David Weir's in charge. The manager ain't going to David Weir and going, "I'm not playing that place." I'm not being funny. You are playing the players.
Just buying another £20 million.
I am. You are buying the players I give you to play because that's how we work here. And it's the same with like Liverpool with Michael Edwards or whatever. We buy the players and you buy. Know why you play them? Because you've got nobody else. Because I'll just sell your favourites on you. No, like in Moneyball, he gets the foul and goes, "You're gone, mate. You're not playing him." And that's a big problem for me. And that's not like don't get me wrong, that's not Sean Dyche's fault. It's just that's the way it should be. If you bring a player in, it should be because the manager is going to play him. And then you shouldn't be going, "Oh, I can't bring him in." And so we're missing out on good young targets who might be in 2 or 3 years' time the person we sell and the person we then get so much money for. Then that's it. The Blues there in the comments. The Zerbi tried throwing his weight round, and look what happened. Because that's what proper clubs do. The director of football is massively important. He sets the stall. He buys the plays. He sees the vision. He goes, that player in 2 years, 3 years time, he's going to be worth X amount. So we get him into the squad, we build him up, and then we play him. Yeah. We've got a situation. Last year when we got Schmidt, that's the kind of player you want. But it has to be done the year before, and you have to have that way of doing things, and we just don't. We just don't.
Evans muddled. Glenn on the super chat. Thank you very much, Glenn. Says, "Ped, could we get some more yellow 4-year-old t-shirts?"
Glenn, I'll be honest with you, mate. It'd be easier if you just tell your kids that yellow's a shite colour and be done with it.
Okay. So, what Ped is really saying is Dyche isn't a long-term manager.
No, but it's not a case of whether he's a long-term manager or not. It's a case of the structure is not in place. The director of football should, honest to God, if I hear that thing squeak one more time.
It's WD-40 on it.
The director of football should be bringing the players in and giving them to the manager. And the manager should only have so many players to play with. We brought Onana in because we saw a prospect that we'd make money on, and then Dyche stops playing him. It's like it shouldn't work like that. Whether you like Onana, doesn't like Onana, you're giving players to use.
But we did make money on them as well.
No, of course we did, but we might have made more. The manager, the owner, the director of football should hire and fire in many ways. Okay, it's not necessarily the done thing in this country, but if the director of football isn't getting his points across, then the owner, like at Brighton, should go, no. He brings the players in. You pick the players that he gives you, and we all work together. Not this thing of, because the Blues is right. The Zerbi started going, "I'm not happy with this. I'm not." Well, right, see you later then, mate, because we'll go and get a 31-year-old fella who'll do the job for us. Simple as that. That's not Dyche's fault, by the way. I'm not putting that at Dyche's door. I'm putting that at the door of the numero uno, the number one, the owner.
We had the insight into that, though, didn't we? You're not saying anything that we don't know about Dyche, because
some people might know it.
Well, he said if you listen to Julia Bold's thing that she did, the BBC Sounds documentary, he said, if they buy a player and I don't want to play him, I won't play him. Basically, he says it. He said he can buy you if he wants, I won't play him.
Yeah.
So people are saying, he doesn't have the final say. He mightn't on a sale, but he certainly does on who's coming in.
But after a while, that's going to wear your director of football down to go, well, there's no point, is there? There's no point. He might have been looking at 18, 19-year-old players, 20-year-old players from abroad and gone, get him in over the course of the year. We'll build him up. And then next year, we'll get him into the team. And then 2 years after that, here come the Reddies.
The biggest thing is Onana. Right, and people will split on him, and that's fine, no problem with it. But the simple fact is, we bought Onana for 30 and sold him for 50. So we made money on him. Had him 2 seasons, made 20 million on him. That's how it's done.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. You know, we've bought Irabunum for 9 or 10, whichever it is, 10 million, say. If he carries on developing, we'll get at least 30 million for him. That's what it's about. Stop messing with that mic.
Mine doesn't squeak.
It's that simple, isn't it? It really is that simple. So that's what it's about.
And that's how you get yourself into a situation, by the way, going back the Dominic Calvert-Lewin situation. It's how you get yourself into a situation where a player's only got 1 year left. That should never happen. That should be done 8, 12. You know, I know Dom's slightly different because of the injuries, but you should never get yourself into a situation where you are within 2 years of a player walking out the door. You should have these players signed and sealed and done, so everybody knows. Really?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's just Blue 96. It's funny you should mention Josh Brown.
Why?
Our manager.
This is a really bad story.
He wanted them the other day, and thank God we've got Mangala instead.
And then they're asking for, he signed a contract and they're asking 3 million.
Yeah, but he still wanted them inquired about the other day. But there you go. We haven't got him. We've got Mangala. Who I think is a decent signing. It's just not what we need. That's all. Not what we need, because we do. We need him in the squad, of course we do. But we had priority, and they've still got. They've got 6.5 hours to get that priority sorted. I'm very doubtful that they'll do it, but while the window's open, there's always time. So hopefully they'll do something.
I'm definitely expecting 11:05, the deal sheet's in for Mangala.
Oh,
and they make us sweat on it. And then they go, Everton managed to get it done, and everyone's like, whoa, what a day, whoa.
Dan says no winger is terrible. Groundhog Day again. Tazul says no sniff of a pacey winger. Everton Viking says honestly so disheartened. I just don't know how they're repeating this thing for 3 windows in a row. Oh, I do. Deadline day is the same. The last few we tried really hard, I promise, but no actual end result to it. Only Liverpool and Palace have spent less and brought in less than us. I also don't think we've spent even close to what we got for Onana, if we take into account the fees we paid up front. I just don't know how they haven't brought in a winger in the entire world. There wasn't one player we couldn't bring in.
But that proves, though, doesn't it? That proves that money isn't forthcoming once it comes into the club. That they clearly know.
Everton have agreed a big deal with Leon for Numa, so there's money there. If they can't then go and get it. I don't know how I can't, without sitting with them and going, how does it work then, lads? Explain to us, and ladies, if there's how does it work?
Well, it has to be favourable terms, doesn't it?
Surely you have a list though of players. If you're
a very long list.
A winger with pace, which was the requirement, which has been put out everywhere as well, so it's been fed by somebody, and you are 6.5 hours left of a transfer window and you haven't done it when they're literally everywhere, then you either haven't got a clue what you're doing and therefore shouldn't be in the job, or there's another reason. But if Everton hadn't signed anybody but they got 2 loans in because they didn't have a penny, then we'd all just have to go, what else can we, there's nothing we can do. What can they do? What do you expect them to do? There's no money, evidenced by no players. But there is players. Jack brought it up again before with Jake O'Brien. And this ain't anything against Jake O'Brien, who I think will be a good defender for Everton. But the lad, I know you're disappearing, right? But the lad is a centre-back. And we've got 49 centre-backs. But we don't have a right winger with pace. So, you make the call. You go, Jake O'Brien, centre-back, who the manager probably won't play straight away because he's not played in the Premier League. Or do we get a fast winger, which we are crying out for, which we are desperate for? And we took a centre-back. And he hasn't played them anyway. So it's a bit of a head-scratcher, but...
That comes down to favourable terms, doesn't it? What you can get, who you can...
They've got about 9 wingers, Leon, and they're getting Kahar as well. Mark Mack says, at what point do we not sell Dom? They might have decided it's now, but I'd rather him go. The man's heart's not in it. And also, did you see Villa have loaned 4 of their new signings out already?
Because they're building, aren't they? They're building for the future. They're building, they're trying to get them out, trying to get them match experience, and they'll, don't need them right now, but they bought them for the future.
Nathaniel Clancy says, have we considered the possibility of kidnapping a pacey winger? Might be frowned upon, but as far as I'm concerned, it's the only thing stopping it is a lack of imagination from the recruitment team. I think so, Nathaniel.
They probably don't own a van.
It's true.
They probably just haven't got a van with blacked out windows.
Everton
essential. No, I was going to say they're essential.
Yeah. Everton Vikings says, I genuinely want the recruitment team and Thelwell sacked and replaced. I understand they've had difficulties, but it's still 2 failures in a row. I also do not understand why O'Brien was brought in. Jake O'Brien, for me, was brought in because this is the season he beds in to replace Jared Brantwaite, which is a sensible plan, really. All I'm saying is, surely there's priorities within that plan, but... Eddie says, do you think Holgate will be gone? I really wish he would take the L and move on the low. Holgate is talking to Sheffield Wednesday, I believe. So he may well end up going. He's out of contract, of course, next season. I don't know how, if Sheffield have got any money to pay for him. Not sure, we'll see. No, but you know what I mean? Everton would surely... They're not going to pay his wages because he's on stupid wages.
I mean, it'd be incredible if we went to Sheffield Wednesday and then by the end of the year could be like literally hated by both set of fans.
But he could go and hopefully he goes and rediscovers his form and gets his head down and starts his career again, because it's been on bloody stop, hasn't it? It's been on hold for the last few years.
True.
Matt Gibson says, no talented winger is coming here under this yard dog. The sooner he's gone, the better. Okay, Matt. Ben says, tried for 3 different fast wingers, ended up with none, is a big failure no matter how you spin it. Can't moan about the money when you spent the summer asking for an unrealistic price tag for a striker that wants to leave, doesn't score goals, and has spent the last few years struggling with fitness. Okay. Tom says, not really surprising, players don't want to join a club that just hoofs it up the pitch 90s style. Young players are a lot more clued up these days. That is correct, by the way.
That's no issues there.
Jonathan says, surely Reece Nelson from Arsenal on loan would be ideal, or Kabori from City. Also too fast. Well, Kabori's more of a right back, but he's gone on loan. He's gone abroad, hasn't he? Kabori. But Reece Nelson, yeah. Steve P says, I'm starting to think we should have just tried to get Cornet on loan. Would have made sense when you think about it. Can play on both wings up front and even left back. And of course, he has the ultimate Premier League Dyche experience. Surprised we didn't go for him. Jay says if he's staying, he needs to get his head out of his arse now. Kev, you've got 3 months to find a replacement. Oh, and pace on the right-hand side would be lovely.
Let me just ask you this question, right? Is there nobody at Chelsea we could have took? Because they're getting Jadon Sancho on loan, right? And it's like literally no one we could have got where you think, right, he'd do us for 12 months. He's, they've got 12 players
on the wing.
Yeah.
I didn't think they'd play Mathew, and I thought we might be able to get him, but then he come on the other day and got a hat-trick, so that's out the door.
He's in the England squad now.
They've got Cole Palmer.
Yeah, he's not coming on loan, Bass Sauce. No,
they got Pedro Neto. He ain't coming on loan. Mikhail Mudryk, they put him on loan.
No.
That's it. So probably not in them wide areas, really. Unless they were like younger players. So, all of their players are like central, and they've got about 4 strikers they want out. And
But then if the centre we could play, they still play them wide.
well, that's why
know.
we do that. Well, that's normally what we do. You'll get Trevor Chalobah on loan and put him on the wing.
Yeah.
Because he's a defender. Glenn says Ned got little Ned out in the library. Old library. That was, Glenn, that was from last night. Mark says, I've heard the rumour recruitment team may have found people, but the baldy leader has turned them all down. I cannot confirm or deny that rumour. Jay Ratcliffe says, as it's late in the day, would Toffee TV accept a late bid for Ned from the Redmen? Or would he be impossible to replace at this late stage?
The Redmen, no, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't.
No. They have a genuine disdain for Ned. I've noticed. No, they do. They generally all hate him.
I don't think they hate him.
They do.
Hate's a strong word.
No,
the Redmen.
Yeah, God. Yeah, honestly.
Do they?
Oh God, genuinely.
Why am I only hearing about this?
Yeah.
I'm in this building more than anyone. Why do I not know?
The amount of complaints I've had over them.
Oh, okay. They mustn't come to me.
No, they come to me. They just think I'm more approachable than you. So
I don't think
you're
so.
always walking around a bit cob and going that baldy.
That's just about. Bainey says, can't believe we've yet again chased the same player and failed. We need a winger. Leeds played hardball, yet we won't give them their asking upfront payments. Move on. Our policy doesn't work. Prime example is Mopai. Who the hell even suggested him, let alone sanctioned it? I like the signings we've made, but yet again, the big one we need isn't done.
The irony is, I was on Sky it was around when, I think it was the day Lampard got sacked. And I did comment on Mopai and another player that I famously love, and said that they should never have been signed, and whoever did sign them get sacked. I feel quite vindicated in that view now. At the time, I did get a lot of abuse about it, but I do feel quite vindicated in that now. Yeah, yes, it was strong and it was bold, but I feel like I've been vindicated.
Everton Viking says Wolves signing a skillful fast winger for €13.5 million. Because they look outside of England.
But also, though, they have sold a player, haven't they?
We've got money, though. Money's not the issue.
I don't think we have got money, though.
We have.
I don't think we have.
Money's
I don't think
the
we have.
issue.
I think we've got
money
the availability to give money, a little bit of money up front. If we had money, we'd be buying Nonto. Let's get it right. We've got the availability to give certain amount of money up front to clubs and structure deals, haven't we?
Okay.
I just think that a lot of clubs have sold players this summer and therefore have money to go and do those deals.
Okay.
And can pay more up front. I just don't think we can pay the money up front.
Gaz says, this is a joke. Get new director of football, please, closely followed by a new manager.
I don't think it matters. I don't think any of it matters whilst we have the owner we have.
Nah, I think it massively matters, all the other stuff. Mark says, signed the lad who headlocked Denise. He was super quick to get off the scene, so he must have been fast. Probably play off the right as well. Kane says, Calvert-Lewin shouldn't play again for us this season. Start better every week. If he's not committed and won't sign a contract, don't play him. It's as simple as that. Should have been the thing they took in August, though, Kane. He should have been given till the end of July to find himself a club or sign a contract. They should have been the only two things on the table. And the manager backed down, showed weakness. Royal Blue, yeah, you do. If you're on Premier, you get unfiltered Baz.
What's that, Baz?
Alex says, Royal Rumble, Ned versus Siegel versus Redman. Stewart says, Mopai, Jangpata, Krellin, Okoronkwo, Metcalf, all gone. 5 out with none in you. Well, Mangala's
kids, aren't they?
Are you messing? We got Asmir Begovic. Nothing says progression like getting your goalie back who got off on you. So, Mark says, players choose Ipswich instead of us. How bad are our director of football and recruitment team? I've got no evidence that someone chose Ipswich over Everton.
No.
Zero evidence. But RC says the backroom gossip coming out now. From the backroom staff. Rod's starting to get worried about the season. Robert says, imagine being an Everton fan if hope didn't exist. Basically the only thing that gets us through every season. Yeah. Yeah. Don't know what else to say at the moment. A couple of people suggesting Corney. Hasn't done anything though, has he?
Nothing since signing for West Ham.
You know, he's hardly played really. In and out, hasn't he? I think he's been injured. Yeah, Issa Kabori went to Benfica, didn't he? Yeah. Could have got him early on. And Ketia on loan, well, they've got 30 million for him, so they were never letting him out on loan. But Graham says, how are we going to fill a subs bench with only 2 backup goalies?
Yeah. It's an issue, like.
Charlie, it isn't. It's the answer to how the Nuamar situation developed. Corney's gone to Southampton. See if there's anything else there. Delhi to Lille. Robert says, Ped, who do you reckon's had the best window?
I don't know. Depends which way you look at it, isn't it? Ipswich have had a pretty
Choose a way to look at it and look at it.
Ipswich have had a pretty good window. They've improved their team, I imagine, in quite a few positions. So they've done all right. Higher up the table.
Is there anyone Ipswich you've got who you want?
That's not the point, though, is it?
No, I'm just
I do.
Because Burnley done this last year.
No, I think
started telling me Burnley would be 11.
I think they've improved themselves. That's all you can do.
Burnley did.
I think that's all you can do is improve yourself. So I think in terms of
Burnley had that, but that's probably.
I think that's all you can do. I think that Fulham have had a decent window. I think getting the lad from Arsenal was a really good signing.
Yeah. We wouldn't have got him.
And I think at the higher end of the table, I think Arsenal have both smartly, without going overboard.
Yeah.
So I think and that's like 3 different parts of the table. So yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's gone mad, and then gone, well, Chelsea clearly have gone mad. I mean, that goes without saying. We'll see. It'll play out, won't it? It'll play out in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Won't play out straight away, but in the next 6 weeks we'll know a little bit more, I think.
Definitely. John says, Baz, who'd be better on the wing, Ped or Ned? It's not even a question, mate. To be fair. Ned,
no, don't ever. I mean, don't do us a favour. Never ever insult me in such a way. 87 times the player. Just like that's the calculation. 87 times the player.
Brighton definitely have had a good window.
Yeah,
definitely. Things. Simon says things will never get better while Mashiri owns the club. He's run the club into the ground. Not convinced by the signing of Mangala. He's just going to be a loan, mate. Doesn't matter what is. If the option is real, it doesn't matter what the option is. Shucky lad says, pray that the new owner gets in by January. Yeah. Balloon 96 says, could Jacob Murphy be an option? No. The Blue says, would 87-year-old Ped be better on the wing than Ned? Yes. Just facts. Ned is what he is. Nick says, who'd be better on the wing, 87 Neds or 1 Ped? See, I think that is a difficult one.
No, it's not. Because 87 Neds would just all fall over each other.
No, but...
Well, of course
you'd
they
have
would.
your hands cut at your hand. I mean, they wouldn't cut your hands.
Of course they would. They just like fall over each other. What a silly statement. Well, it's like saying, would a trillion lions beat the sun?
Yeah. mean,
which is the stupidest thing anyone's ever said. And the worst thing is it came from Jack, not Ned.
no. But Ned fully on board with it.
Yeah, of course he
Ned
is.
supported me.
Of course he would. Because it's Ned and there's a lion involved and he doesn't understand that. A lion couldn't get within like 1 million miles of the sun without perishing.
You've got to admit, though, a trillion's a lot.
It doesn't matter. They're skin and bone. They would just die.
You're forgetting their thing. They're building suits, though. Remember?
But lions don't have thumbs.
One of them might.
So if one of them has a thumb, that
He's got to sew all those suits together.
For all of that. Not happening. It weren't happening. It weren't happening. Chris, nothing's happening, mate. Mangala, and that'll probably be it. That'll probably be it. Ian said, and he's right. Our right winger played on Tuesday. What are you on about? Ashley Young. And that, you know what? You know what is? That's not the most terrifying thing. that actually, at times this season, will be used as an option by this manager.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. So, Ollie says, open deadline day stream. Here, Lions don't have thumbs. I assume it's going well. That is brilliant. Toffee Keith says, will we see WhatsApp Baz by the end of the day? You won't see Baz by the end of the day. We'll be well home by then, mate. Once I have it confirmed in the next hour that the tumbleweeds turned up again, it'll be all over. No one cares about anyone else. Ollie says, I'd have Sunday, Monday, my guy Gay back now. Get him back. At least he went on the right for a bit. It was great, but at least he went on the right. Simon says, does anyone think players are put off to us with Dice being in charge? It must be a factor, especially if they have no Premier League experience after hearing his recent comments. There's no evidence that that's true. Is Robert Earnshaw still an option? But he didn't really play on the right, though, Steve. You've done it wrong there. Just centre forward. Couldn't play off the right. But, hey-ho. Is anything else going on in the world of transfers?
No. Only the Sancho story.
See, you should all be better just enjoying your Friday nights. A couple more hours and then we'll be done. We'll all just turn it off and we'll start again next week.
Hopefully everyone just announce it at 6 and go, that's it,
Mangala,
lads.
do it.
That's it, lads.
They'll have gone home.
We've gone home. We've all gone home.
They'll be claiming overtime in 6 minutes. You know what they're like. Forget the centre forward, mate. Forget it. Unless someone comes in for Dom, Everton wouldn't be looking for a centre forward. Yeah.
Everton are doing free printing on shirts, though. I mean, what else do you want?
There you go. And giving journalists who destroy them day after day lovely meals with chicken, Everton.
Chicken burgers
and stuff. And the journalists like, oh, this is great. Thanks, Everton, for looking after us while we covered the deadline day stuff. On Monday, we're going to hammer you and destroy you and say you're getting 80,000 point deduction and your manager's getting sacked and your owner's, doing this. But thanks for, looking after those people to continue to give them the energy to write awful stories about our football club and decimate us every day. But well looked after, Everton. Chelsea are, I think, interested in Dom DM, but I think they're trying first and foremost for to see whether there's any way they could get Osimhen. But I don't know. Don't know what you think. Think he'll go there, Osimhen? Wouldn't that have been so? Wouldn't there be like hints that was getting done by now? Do you think?
I don't know. It still seems like it's up in the air, doesn't it? Between that and Saudi.
You see, he can. He doesn't have to go to Saudi today though, because the window's still open till next week.
I'd have just got Tony if I was Chelsea.
Yeah, it's stupid, isn't it? Ollie, you're right. Bite your hand off for Trent now. I'd love Royston Trent now off that right hand side, cutting in with that left. Remember his goal against QPR away? And Fulham. And Blackpool. Oh, get him back. He's only about 34 now. Is he? 35? Bet you he's only about 35.
Yeah.
Let's play the game. Let's look up how old Royston's rent is, because there's nothing else going on.
I was watching him in the summer. He was doing Instagram lives with Van der Meijden.
37.
Yeah.
He's still 2 and a bit years younger than Ashley Young,
Yeah.
who's in our team, who's a guaranteed starter. Get him back. Get him back. Why wouldn't you?
Get it back for some kind of event and then cancel
back.
it with 10 days before to go.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
They couldn't organise a fucking piss up in a burning. That's all right. I didn't have my mic on.
Redman. He's talking about.
Yeah.
Ned's
band.
Haley says it's so obvious, Baz, the reason we haven't really gone after a winger is because the manager wants a defensive team only. Hence why we've signed another centre back and defensive midfield player.
Toffee TV member Phil Game 47 says get Landon Donovan with his dodgy haircut. That would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Haley, I can't disagree with you. And Joe says deadline day Baz is slowly descending into William.
This is tremendous. The good thing is though, if we do have an early darters and get into Lidl and get the bakery, between after 7 o'clock it's happy hour, Yeah, you get all the bakery stuff dead cheap.
Where's Little?
There's one on Edge Lane. It's not far from yours, that. It's good with the back roads, mate. Oh, have you not been to Lidl on Edge Lane? Oh, it's the bakery, mate, is superb. Honestly,
There's big P-Cats one as well. That's probably
that's
that.
fucking.
Yeah. Is that miles away? Yeah. I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I'm not being funny. Honestly, the one on it. Whoa, what are you doing? What have you done? What have you done?
I've not done anything.
What have you done? Oh, he hasn't done
You've
so.
gone back.
I've gone back in time, so.
You're all right, Jack. You haven't done anything. Jack's face then. Jack was like that. I haven't done anything.
Executed.
Posh
Matty's a member.
Yes, he's a member. Welcome to the Toffees. Yeah.
The minute we get a certain amount of members, we might do one extra show, but it's gotta be.
Listen,
it's gotta be.
If you go from yours and go up and then go through the back roads and then go down Pig Lane,
yeah.
right, and go round the back and go to. There's a little there. Honestly, it's 5 minutes from your house. The bakery is amazing. Honestly,
and would the bakery have stuff that late at night?
Yeah, because it doesn't shut till 10.
Okay.
Honestly, and it's happy hour after 7.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm getting me pastries for the morning, mate.
Right.
Honestly,
I don't eat breakfast, so I wouldn't have them in the morning. But fair
We
play.
can have them tonight then. But they have more. They have like these nice pizza things as well. Little pizza things. Heat them up and they're beautiful. Honestly,
So Posh Matty, nice one, mate.
Lidl's the king.
Remember.
Lidl is the absolute king.
Okay.
King of the world.
Right.
Danny says Waitrose Baz. Wouldn't get that. Wouldn't get that.
No,
The
there's
gate.
no way that'd be letting our gate.
Lidl's tremendous. I'm all for Lidl.
I've got no thingy with a little. In fact, I had first time I ever tried. That's probably the only time I've ever tried one. What are those donut things called? They're not real donuts. They're like a long.
Oh yeah, with the toffee inside, they are beautiful.
The yum yums.
Yum yums. Yeah, I see.
Well, they sell them.
The only time I've ever had was a
They sell them
little
in Lidl.
yum yum.
Yeah,
Apparently, or a
beautiful.
yum. Is it yum yum? Yeah, yum yum.
You don't say yam yam. Isn't that someone from Birmingham?
Ned's mate, isn't it? He was in a WhatsApp group with.
One with no
Hello,
foreskin.
darkness, smile. No. Bell and Chris.
Do you think Bell and Chris knows he's called Bell and Chris?
Well, but he's only called Bell and Chris because Ned.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No, I was going to say.
Do you think Bell and Chris knows Ned told everyone he'd had his foreskin cut?
But do you think he knows that on an international show that goes all around the world and it's viewed by loads of countries around the world that everyone knows that Ned's best mate's called Bell and Chris because he had his bell end took off? Like, that's unbelievable. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's unbelievable. Imagine just going somewhere and going, oh my God, it's Bell and Chris. He's like, well, my name's Chris, yeah, but what are you something with? You had your doodah cut off, didn't you? And he's like, what? Did you or did you not? Well, yeah, I did.
I did,
yeah,
but how'd you know?
lads, get him a bevy. It's Bell and Chris.
I know, I'll be on start as he comes in. Bell and Chris.
No, we should do, right?
We
should organise a secret gig, right? We should book Ned. No, we should book Ned's band, but not telling Ned. Get him somewhere. All Toffee TV people saying up. And then everyone's like, but we like hide so Ned doesn't realise that we've done it. Like Ant and Dec. We'll do like an Ant and Dec. And we'll all go, shout, Bell and Chris. And then like you start playing, everyone starts going, Bell and Chris. And Ned's like, I don't know what's going on. And the lad's like, what's going on? He's like, now say you've had your bell end cut off, haven't you?
He hasn't had his whoa. He hasn't had his belling cut off. He's had his foreskin cut.
Oh, it's the same
Peeled
if you're
back.
from down there.
No, I don't know whether it is.
And everyone's like, and he's like proper like doesn't know what's going on, but Ned doesn't know what's going on, so he's not part of the joke. This would be amazing.
It's like,
This would be. But we'll book him somewhere. Yeah, but we'll book him somewhere like really weird, so that there's no chance anyone would know that it was us, and we'd all turn up and everyone, and then it'd just be like. And then we just get loads of clips and play them every time we've had a conversation about Chris.
Poor Belen Chris. Right, the new now, Jorge Rodriguez. Don't be silly. Are there any new players? It's Everton you're talking about. Go and have a look at our recruitment team.
Chris.
Orel Mangala will be in at some stage. People who've gone out today. Billy Crellin's gone on loan to
Accrington Stanley.
Francis Onkoronko has gone to Salford City.
He hasn't gone yet.
No,
that's
but
not
he's
been confirmed.
That's they're talking about that. Jensen Metcalf's gone off to Chesterfield on loan.
Zapata's gone to
Zapata's gone to Spezia in Italy, and yesterday Eli Campbell joined Ross County on loan, and Maupai has
gone.
off.
And Lille are showing interest in signing Delhi.
Yeah,
which
so
is dead weird because last week Dyche was all hot and moist about the money. So
it shows you we can't even keep we can't even keep a player
that we don't
who
have.
we've trained and all that. He doesn't even want to stay, so there you go. Life in Chengdu said, just joined and you're talking about bellends. That's normally, this isn't a normal conversation. Bell and Chris is on, we do talk about Bell and Chris, but we don't discuss normally his bellend, ironically. But
recurring character.
He is a recurring character.
None of us are by. We've never met him.
No.
So
we've seen pictures. I know what he looks.
But the weird thing is, we don't even know if he's real.
No, he is.
This could be stock footage that Ned's got
Possibly.
of a person just like by him in a bar. Like imagine Ned just walking past a fella he sees regularly at a pub and just walking past and saying to someone, "Just grab a picture now," while he's smiling and sort of looking in my direction, so it looks like we're mates. Right? You do that enough, and we're all like, "Oh yeah, Bell and Chris, yeah, he's your busy mate and all that." But none of us actually know that he's his best mate because we've never seen them anywhere together.
But normally, if you join and we're talking about something like Bell and Chris, normally that means Everton's
normally
deadline.
it's a lot later.
And it normally means Everton's deadline day's gone down the pan. Bit like Bellen's, Chris's foreskin. But there you go. Apparently, the Nketiah to Palace has collapsed. The deal's off.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
It's off. So Arteta will be fuming.
Just off topic slightly.
Yeah.
Could be doing inside
sorry.
with Bellingham.
What topic?
It doesn't work. But we could do a different style inside the Bellingham. Possibly. Celtic Vape said, is Bellend the winger by any chance? Circumcision Chris says RC. Bellend Chris is better.
He's too rough around the edges.
James Graham has become a member. Hello, James Graham. Welcome.
Didn't he used to play for St Helens Rugby League?
Did he?
And James Graham's an Evertonian who played Rugby League and then went to Australia. Is it the same James Graham? Ginger-haired lad? Is it the same James Graham? I need to know.
Elevate said hire Ned's band in a subscriber special.
No, the point being is that Ned can't know that we're doing it. Because Ned wouldn't be able to, because Ned would go, well, I'm the one who told everyone that he's had his doodads bumped off for cleanliness. And Ned would be like, you can't do that.
Apparently, Elanga's going to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think we need to take a break, restock, and come back.
No, we are. We'll be back on More Than a Game with some different stuff in 10 minutes. 5:15. Just, can you do the hyper super link there?
What am I, Ninja?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I can't do anything.
Okay. Go over to More Than a Game in 10 minutes. We'll be on there. So we probably won't mention Bell and Chris over there.
No.
They won't know.
Keep it serious.
Yeah, absolutely. See you in a minute.